So students will say to me, well, if I do it on the computer, it's neat. And that is true. It is neat. But let's just say I said to you, okay, on your computer, I want you to write the same paper, but you're not allowed to use the backspace button. You're not allowed to use cut and paste. You're not allowed to move some information here, here. You're not allowed to create 2 paragraphs out of 1. Guess what? Then you start to find it challenging. Now, if you do this in your normal style, without thinking about a plan, the organisation, and with the rules that I give you about corrections, guess what? Once again, it becomes messy. Now, it's not messy in terms of the layout. There are no crosses and whiteout. There's no whiteout. But the contents of your paper is messy. See, the thing is that if you produce a physical paper that's messy, this is what's going up in your head. If you produce a typed paper that has messy ideas, once again, it's what's going on up here. So the same thing happens on the computer as it does physical. We just don't see what's going on here. For teachers, it's very good to see a student's physical writing because it shows them what's going on up in their heads. It helps us to identify your weaknesses. So the thing is that with the computer, if you're doing typed exams, the problem doesn't go away. Those students that have this issue of making a lot of corrections on a paper, the reason for this problem is a psychological problem. A lot of the time it's just that students don't like writing. It's painful. It's a painful process to them. But the thing is that also, students that say they don't like writing, the more you say that you don't like writing, the more that you don't like writing. If you overcome these problems, then magically you start to like writing. And magically your writing gets better. It's a bit of a chicken and egg situation. Do you like writing? Do you not like writing because it's hard? Or is it hard because you don't like writing? So, it's psychological. Now, I've had students in the past who have taken exams on the computer. Their writing task is on the computer. I think TOEFL does it. So I've had students who have excellent English. They have such command of vocabulary, so well spoken, good grammar, but when it comes to their writing, in the exam they always fall down. And I've had them come to me and say, look, Henry, can you help me? I need to boost my grade in my TOEFL test, in the writing. And so what I do with them is I sit down with them, we have a look at a TOEFL question, and then they type their answer on the computer while I'm watching. And guess what happens? When they type 3 or 4 words, backspace. Then another 3 words, backspace. Another 3 back. They're in the middle of typing a word, backspace. Cut, paste, all of this. It doesn't help. And that's the problem. I say to them, there's your problem. And they go, what? And I go, backspace, that's your problem. You're doing it too much. Some of them are so worried about what they're going to write in a sentence that it takes them a minute or two to write out that whole sentence. They're thinking too much. They're correcting too much. It's the same thing as on the paper, except we don't see it. Because when it's the finished product, we don't see all of those corrections. We just see the finished product. But in some ways we do see it, because plan, organisation, content, the ideas are all over the place. We just don't see the messiness. So then I say to them, well, now, I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to use the backspace button. So they get a new question and I put my hand over the backspace button. So they reach for the backspace button and they hit my hand. They're not allowed to touch the backspace button. So for you, if you love using the computer, or if your test is going to be on computer, the new challenge is to disable the backspace button if you can, or put something over it, like a cup or something that you're not allowed to use to touch. You're not allowed to use the delete button either. And when you type that paper, you're not allowed to make corrections at all. And then suddenly you start to think about planning, organisation, content, task requirements. So the problem with the messy students is either they don't like writing, and they don't like writing because it's hard, or it's hard because they don't like writing. And that can be fixed by planning, organisation. The more you do this, it becomes easier and you start to like writing more. So there's that, or it's a perfectionist. We call it perfectionism. Students want to make their sentence perfect. So they have to think about it again and again. What do I need to do? Think first, decide what the sentence is going to be, and then write it. And then you're not allowed to correct. Think about what's going to be in the paragraph. It doesn't have to be every single word, but the content, what's going to be the first sentence, second sentence, or the first idea, second idea. And then for each sentence, you think about the sentence first before you write it down. No corrections. So you get the idea. Neatness, it's not just about being neat. It's about being organised, having a plan, thinking about the content, answering the task requirements. Now, those students that really struggle with the neatness and are having difficulties, I'm going to give you some tasks. You're going to keep a diary, a daily record of events or thoughts, and each day you put the date and then you write about a topic. And when you write 150 to 200 words, you're not allowed to make any corrections. Maximum 3. And it has to be written, not on computer. The problem with the computer is it takes away all your skills. It takes away all your thinking skills. You rely too much on it. Spelling, grammar. If I make a mistake, I can cut, paste. All your skills get taken away from you. Now, with AI, they can just write the paper for you. What's the point of being alive if the computer can do everything for you? Take back your power. Write it down. Write it. So, every day, you're going to have an entry in your diary, 150 to 200 words, about a simple topic. It could be something that you did that day, or it could be about your family, or about a trip that you went on. Or you could even write an opinion piece. There are several topics that you can choose from on different websites on the internet. If you want some examples, I can give you a list. But it's pretty easy to find something. You just do a search on the internet, writing topics for diary. And I'm sure you'll find plenty of resources that you can draw upon. Now, there are two approaches that you can take with the diary. There's the left brain approach and the right brain approach. So left brain approach is all of this: planning, organisation, content, task requirements. This is very logical, structured, left brain thinking. So for day one, you use this approach. And now a lot of students have difficulty with the second approach, which is right brain. Now I want you to exercise and access your right brain. Right brain is more ideas. It's more trust. It's accessing the subconscious. It's very, very powerful, and it's underutilized. In this day and age, we don't use it at all. So powerful. And with this approach, you can throw all of this away. You have your question, and then you just start writing. Writing whatever comes to your mind. It can be a silly idea, it can be even nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense. You just write whatever comes to your mind. It's a bit like brainstorming, but you're not allowed to make any mistakes. So you just go free flow. It's relying on trust. It's almost doing something that a lot of students have difficulty with. Very, very powerful. What happens at first when you access the right brain is that often it just doesn't make any sense. It looks silly. You think, oh, I'm embarrassed about this. But keep going. Just keep going, going, going. No mistakes. Let it flow. Let yourself go. So this is almost the opposite to what I've been suggesting now. That you put trust, faith, let it go, but no mistakes. Just keep going, and what happens is that eventually with practice, left brain one day, right brain the other day, with practice the right brain, you start to come up with some very, very powerful ideas. The errors start to go away. They just naturally go away because you're accessing a very powerful part of your brain. And you get ideas that you won't get with your left brain. You get insights, thoughts that it's almost as if you're not even thinking yourself. Very powerful. One day left brain, one day right brain. So Monday left brain, Tuesday right brain, Wednesday left brain, etc. And finally, my advice is get help. If this has been beneficial to you, if this has been helpful, this video, then get my help. Keep your diary, scan your entries and send them to me, and I'll error correct them. And I'll give you feedback, and I'll help you improve your confidence. You will improve with my help. So that's my video for today. I hope it's been helpful. Love and light. Bye for now.